Welcome to the studio. It's Froyle here. I'm so glad you've joined me. I'm pretty excited today because I'm going to encourage you to turn your beautiful, fabulous jelly prints into finished, glorious canvases ready to sell. I've made some beautiful jelly prints in the past few weeks, and I'm going to show you how I've put them together on canvas and how to finish them like a professional. Now, the first tip, number one, is to create what you love. That's really important, because if you don't look at your beautiful jelly prints and go, oh my gosh, I love that, I'm such a genius, then when you put them together in a collage for selling, why would somebody else think it's amazing if you don't? Use your best prints, use the ones that you absolutely love, because that passion and energy really does get transferred into your artwork, and somebody else is going to come along and fall in love with your beautiful passion. Now, I'm loving this collage here. I love everything about it. First of all, I have this glorious print here, which is a layer of the beautiful iridescent bronze on the gel plate, one of my favorite PM Artist Studios masks, and I've pulled it with muted grey. I loved the print immediately when I pulled it, so when I decided to put this collage together, I definitely had to use it. And then the following week, I created this fabulous circle print. I was playing with the gel elf plates, the first ever circle print that I've ever made, and yes, I'm in love. So I had to have it for my collage. Now, what you need to do is lay out your prints and choose the ones that you think are exceptionally fabulous. Don't get stressed out or worried thinking about whether or not they're gonna like it. Are they gonna like it? What are they gonna think? Don't let that stop you, because that will cripple you. What do you like? Which of your prints do you think are really beautiful? Pull them together for your collage. Now, this gel plate here, I absolutely loved it when I created it. I put the paint on the plate and just rolled it out. And this one here, I've done some beautiful mark making on this gel print. They can all be beautiful different textures. When you're putting them together, consider your color palette and how you're going to lay them out. Number two tip is enhance your prints. Now, I loved both of those gel prints, but this one over here, I decided I wanted to push it a little bit further, and I busted out the deco foil. Yes, I've been in love with that recently. Anything shiny, I really don't mind. It looks absolutely fabulous. You can enhance your prints a little with another layer, or spraying the back, or adding some textures, or some stencils, or some stands, or some fabulous deco foil. There's 101 ways to take the original jelly print and enhance it, push it to another level, and add some beautiful highlights. Now, with this one here, I absolutely love this print. This is a jelly print, and then I've stenciled some of my dance moves marks on it. I absolutely love it. This side is the deco foil right over the top of a gel print that I didn't think was brilliant. It was a background texture. It had some nice areas, but don't you think the deco foil just gives it that little extra something, that little boost into the next level? And this piece here down the middle is simple mark making. It's not even difficult, but I love the combination of adding these textures together. Oh, and that's tip number three. Use a variety of textures. This beautiful little one here has the glorious deco foil in this piece. That was really fun creating on that particular jelly print with the deco foil. This one, I did the mark making with my mask on layers upon the gel plate, and this one has my fabulous stenciling. They're all different textures, but they're all really sitting well together, and it makes for a really interesting collage. Yes, I have one more of these little ones. Again, we've got the beautiful dance move stencils, some of that fabulous jelly print that I love so much, and the deco foil. Don't they all sit really well together? They make a glorious series. And turning the papers over on the side and running the colors around the edge really does add a beautiful professional element to your canvases, because when you're hanging your canvas on the wall, you do actually see the side when you're walking up to it. So I feel like it's really interesting and important to make sure those sides look as beautiful as the front face of the canvas. And talking about professional, you want to varnish your collages. Number one, it keeps them clean. You can wipe them over with a damp cloth. Also, it protects all your papers and it seals everything. If you've got something that didn't quite get glued down properly when you're varnishing, that's going to help seal the papers. You don't want over time for little creatures to crawl into those layers of paper. I know, I lived in Australia for all my life, so I was very careful about making sure all my papers were sealed, because there's lots of little bugs and creatures that like to crawl into those papers behind your canvas, even on the front. So varnishing really seals it. Also, it's fantastic for creating that beautiful lavish color and texture on the front. Now, I absolutely love shiny. I love glossy, so I did a little bit of an experiment. Now, for this one here, I decided I wanted to use the liquid glass. It's a new product, hadn't tried it before, because I wanted to create a thick, shiny, resinous effect onto the canvas. So I thought I'd try it, and I painted it on this section here around the paper with the deco foil, because I wanted to create some different textures on the canvas. I wasn't overly impressed with the liquid glass. It came with some cloudy bits and pieces in it that I had to pick out. It didn't make me very happy at all. I think next time I would probably have to strain it. But it did dry super glossy. It looks absolutely beautiful. And I was happy with the overall resin-like finish. It did look like liquid glass, like it's called. Now, the second one, I tried the Liquitex pouring medium on this section of the papers here. Again, I didn't want to put it on the deco foil section because I wanted to create those different layers and different textures. It looks really good, and what I love about the Liquitex pouring medium is there's no problems. There was no cloudy areas, there wasn't any difficulties. I didn't have to pick anything out. It's always solid as a medium. So that's on this section here. It looks super glossy, nice and thick, and then this section here has the beautiful deco foil, and it creates that contrast that I was really wanting to create. On this one here, I decided to use my usual gloss varnish. It's a lot thinner and requires 2 coats when I put it on. I put it on this section here, not the deco foil again. I know, I was creating different textures. I've been absolutely obsessed in the last month creating different patterns and textures with the incredible jelly prints that we've been making. So I found that 2 layers of the gloss varnish was definitely as good as 1 layer of the Liquitex pouring medium, and both of these are solid mediums to use for the varnish. Now, if you don't want it shiny, I don't know why you wouldn't, but you might not. You can get matte, and also you can get satin in this particular varnish that I was using. I like to use a brush on varnish because I think it covers more, and like I said, I like to seal the papers, and I feel by brushing it does that. Look, the sides are all beautiful. It's looking glamorous, and I think I really like them as a triptych. Now, with this painting here, I decided I wanted to create some different layers with the varnish, so I varnished around the circle shape with one layer of the varnish, and then I came back and did an overall second layer. So this outside section of the collage is more shiny than the circle in the middle, and I just like the different surface tension that you can see on the collage. All glossed up with the beautiful varnish, it looks absolutely beautiful. And of course I had to finish it off with a little piece of Kozo paper. Now I didn't varnish the Kozo paper because I wanted that to be matte flat, and then I touched it up with a little bit of the bronze. It looks beautiful, and the contrast between the matte textured paper and the shiny varnish I think's really enjoyable because there's so much interest and then there's so much to look at. Of course, the sides are all done and finished, and I've taken all of the papers around the edge so that it all looks professional. So that was number 4. Varnish for impact. I think we can do a lot with the varnish to really enhance the colors and textures of our papers. And it's really good to have an experiment. Try the different varnishes, see what you like better. Try different papers and see how your textures are going to respond to the different varnishes, because it really is quite interesting, and it's a great experiment to see how your jelly prints are going to look under a layer of the medium. Now, talking about professional, number 5, finish like a professional. I like to tape and string my canvases just like this. I put tape around the edge, framing tape, and then I get a piece of cord with some D-rings and string the painting so that it's all ready for the buyer just to hang it up on the wall. We absolutely love that feeling of having a finished artwork, putting the hook on the wall and hanging up the painting. It's so incredibly satisfying. Now I like to put the tape around the edge just so it looks professional. It's clean and neat and tidy. Sometimes I put these little wood bits into the canvases. You get them when you buy the canvas. Sometimes I don't. It depends how I feel. This one's got them. I don't think they look good, but it is on the back, so it really doesn't matter. This one has them. Oh, I must have been on a roll. This one doesn't have them. Sometimes I use them and sometimes I don't. That actually to put tension into the corners so that your canvas is going to remain tight and it's not going to bow or buckle. That's the theory. Whether it does that or not on these little size, I'm really not sure, which is why sometimes I use them and sometimes I don't. Depends what mood I'm in. But I do always put my label on the painting, and then I will put also the name of the artwork once I decide what it's going to be. Before I put it into the shop, and it's all taped and strung. It's looking beautiful and it's ready to go. But of course there's one more thing you have to do. Did you sign your painting? Did you add your signature to your artwork? On this one, I have it here on the right hand corner down the bottom, but that's not a law. You can put it wherever you want. When I create these beautiful small little artworks, I tend to put my signature on the side because I don't want to interrupt the composition or the flow of the front of the painting. So I often sign my signature on the side right there, looking beautiful. I only put my first name because that's all I need. So have a little think about these tips when you're wanting to put your collage together. Pull out some small little canvases and just experiment. Remember to create what you love. Pull out your best and most favorite jelly prints. Then enhance your jelly prints with a little bit of extras, stencils or stamps or deco foil. It always adds a beautiful shine to them. Use a variety of surface textures to make your collage interesting that someone's going to want to come along and look at and keep looking at because they're so captivated by what you've created on the canvas. Don't forget that varnishing can add a real impact to your collages, and finish like a professional. tape them, string them, sign your name on them, because if you don't take yourself seriously, then nobody else is going to either. You want to finish your collages like you are a rich and famous artist, because that's the energy you're going to be putting into them, and that's what someone's going to feel when they're looking at your artworks. They're going to sense that you are a serious artist, and they're going to absolutely fall in love with what you've created. Now, of course, I know it's not that easy and it doesn't always go to plan. I have to tell you about this beautiful collage here. It's absolutely gorgeous. Well, it is now, but it didn't start out this way. I used the fabulous ginkgo leaves. Would have to be a month ago. Created these beautiful jelly prints. They turned out so well. I absolutely loved the prints, and I set one aside because I thought that print's going to make an absolutely beautiful collage on canvas. I already had decided that was what I was going to do. But then I was creating some other jelly prints. I was trying out an idea with some powdered pigment, which failed miserably. It absolutely went belly up. It just didn't work. I was pulling the prints. The powdered pigment didn't want to pull off the plate. Oh man, it got stuck. It tore. The papers were terrible. But they weren't interesting. Even though the prints didn't work, the texture was interesting and the colors were really interesting. And even though my idea failed, I decided to keep the prints because, yes, they were interesting. So I glued the prints onto this canvas, and looking at them, I had a brilliant revelation that the ginkgo leaf print would look absolutely amazing on the background. So I cut it out, put it on the canvas with my failed jelly prints, and have a look how absolutely beautiful it is. So I want to encourage you, if you do have failed jelly prints, but there's something about them, there's something special, or the colors are glorious, or the texture's interesting, or you just don't even know what it is, but you're loving them, keep them. Don't discard them. Don't even print over them. Just put them in a folder of future possibilities, because you don't know what you might do a few weeks down the track, or a little bit later you create another beautiful print, and voila, there it is, an absolutely beautiful background that looks like it was made on purpose. Now, this beautiful collage here with the ginkgo leaves and the glorious background, I've given a super glossy varnish to. It looks absolutely beautiful. I love it so much. It hangs in my studio on the wall, and it just makes me happy. But it did start out as with failed jelly prints, and it started out with an idea that absolutely bombed and went to custard. So I want to encourage you that not everything always works out perfectly, but failure is not final. You can develop the prints, you can create incredible collages if you just put it aside, keep creating, keep developing, and come back to it another day. You might even be surprised how well you like it once you look at it with fresh eyes. Absolutely love this one now. It's been through such transformation. So all my fabulous collages on canvas are ready to go, ready to put in the store. They just need some names and some labels on the back, a photograph, and in the shop they go. Thanks for joining me today. I really hope you were encouraged and inspired to not give up with your jelly prints, to create those collages, to put them on canvas and get them ready to sell. Your creativity is valuable, and this will come across when you're creating your collages like a professional. So finish them off beautifully, get them ready, because you don't know who's going to want to buy it. Now don't forget, there's more information in the description under the video. There's a discount code for Kozo paper. You can find all of my stamps and stencils, and I'll see you next time in the studio.